documentary will be a controversial topic when it comes to the truth about the Rodney King beating and the LA riots. There's no conspiracy, but there are facts. The Rodney King police beating and the LA riots began on April 29, 1992, 33 years ago. The LA riots, also known as Rodney King riots, erupted in South Central LA after 4 LAPD officers were acquitted of charges related to the videotape beating of Rodney King. Years after the fact, Rodney King was reported saying out his own mouth contradicted statements.
When you see me on the floor, I'm on the ground. When I'm on the ground, I'm looking for a clearance to get up. So when I see the clearance, I immediately get up. Bam! I get up. I don't want my hands nowhere near my pockets because I don't want to look like a threat. So I put my hands up like that, not knowing my leg was broken. After all the baton hits, because after the second taser, after the first taser, they just started wailing.
At all, how many times you were hit by a club? What do you remember about that aspect?
Several times, and then stomped and kicked.
Pick up your. This is something.
This.
See this? See that one? What is that from?
That's from some kind of device that they use. They shocked me. They got a big kick out of that.
What makes you say they got a kick out of it?
Because of how long they left it in me. It was like they had a little toy and they wanted to see how it worked.
What kinds of things did you hear from the officers? Did you hear any kind of slurs at all?
What do you mean, like slurs?
Were there any kind of racial comments made at all?
Oh, racial? No. I didn't know. I didn't hear it.
You can cut this from the tape if you want. But Rod's family has made it very clear that they're not looking to turn this into a racial crusade.
Mr. King doesn't want to make it out as though they did this just because he was a black man. They may have been incidental to it. And
The story changes and is inconsistent with his previous statement.
After running from the police anyway, I just didn't know it was going to be that severe. So once she got my ID out of my back pocket, she was walking away, and I'm thinking it won't be that bad because it's a female out here. So maybe these boys ain't gonna act a fool on me. I knew it was gonna be a beating, but a whooping, I didn't know how bad. So once she walked away from me, I could see them running to the cars, popping the trunk, and just trying to snatch. He's trying to pull a billy club out of the car, and then they started running towards me. So I just didn't want to see. So I went out face by. As she was walking away, I said, "Hey, tell them that they don't have to do this." And she started walking away. I said, "Hey, tell them they don't have to do this." I'm getting scared now because they just like inches from me. Feet from me. And so once they get over, once she walks away, her husband walks up to me and just kicks me in the temple and in my temple area, and then broke my eye socket out real bad, and busted broke my cheekbone. So, and then he asked me, "How do you feel?" And so once he asked me, "How do you feel?" and I just stripped me from all my decency and my manhood, and I just felt like just a useless piece of crap. This guy gonna ask me how I feel. So one thing I could think of is, and I couldn't say it right, I feel fine. I feel fine. Blowing all this blood out of my mouth. So I'm still laying down there. So he walks away, after kicking me with them long boots on. He walks away, and then he goes, then Sergeant Kuhn comes in. Didn't know him by name then. I know him well to be the sergeant now. And once he walked in, he immediately, boom, tased me. He must have heard the highway patrol officer ask, "How did I feel?" So once he discharged that first taser through me, it stopped. I'm full of blood. And he asked me, "How do you feel now?" And I didn't say anything. And then just before he shot me again, he said, "We're going to kill you, nigga, run." So when he said, "We're going to kill you, nigga, run," I'm already going to run. I'm going to look find a clearance. So I stayed down on the ground and was real calm for, just seconds, just looking for a clearance in between the police car and me. So when you see me, in the video, for some of you that have seen it, when you see me on the floor, I'm on the ground. When I'm on the ground, I'm looking for a clearance to get up. So when I see the clearance, I immediately get up. Bam! I get up. I don't want my hands nowhere near my pockets because I don't want to look like a threat. So I put my hands up like that, not knowing my leg was broken. After all the baton hits, because after the second taser, after the first taser, they just started wailing on me. So it must have broken my leg. So when I heard that "we're gonna kill you, nigga, run," threw my hands up. Like I said, I did not want them near my pockets whatsoever. So I went down. And when I went down, I immediately tried to throw my hands in front of my face. It wasn't. I was launching at him. I was just trying to catch my fall. So I caught my fall. Couldn't run anywhere. Leg was broke. So at that point, I had to just kind of like cover, put my arms up. When I put my arms up, the guys would start wailing on me with the baton. And like, "Stay still, you effing N. Stay still. Hands behind your back." So I'm like, I can't put my hands behind my back because you're beating the crap out of me and tasing me at the same time. So while the taser was going through me, this guy would start hitting me, beating me. And once the taser would stop, they beat me even more. And to try and make it look like I'm really trying to move and get up, which I wasn't. I couldn't stay still because you're not giving me a chance to recoup and put my hands behind me. So I see it slowed down. So Bersinho, the other officer, he puts his foot on my head. He puts his foot on my head, and they've got metal batons. They got metal batons, and so when he's got his foot on my head, but he's telling them guys, he's telling those guys, he's saying, be careful. He's saying, be careful, you're gonna get. He's telling them to be careful, you're gonna get shocked. So let me just give me a minute. I'll get his head. He was trying to push my head straight into the pavement. So he's telling them to wait a minute. You're gonna get shocked. And he stayed pushing, trying to have my head straight into the pavement. So after that, the taser starts up again. And getting hard to remember that thing. I'm feeling it while I'm explaining it. So then the taser starts.
We appreciate it.
So then, the taser starts, and again. And so at that point, I'm screaming like a dog, and I'm hearing these guys call me a bunch of names, that I've heard before. Some, kind of words. When you hear that, you better get ready to die if you're getting beat at the same time while you're hearing that. So the only thing I could do, like I said, at that point was cover my brain, my marbles up back here, and just try and pray that I didn't die. I didn't have enough, time to pray, but I was just trying to cover my, watch my head and protect my marbles.
Rodney King definitely changed his story and contradicted himself. Inconsistent storytelling, but let's look at the aftermath after the trials. Let's look at the crisis actors, and let's look at the real triggers from human emotions fueled by the verdict. This whole psyop was connected with the race division and police brutality agenda with the LAPD, allegedly. Please pay attention to the numbers and coding throughout this whole documentary. The footage of the beating was recorded and used as evidence in the trials by George Holliday, who passed away in 2021.
Ended early
early Sunday morning with the motorist, a black male, being brutally beaten and kicked by Los Angeles police officers. A beating that continued even as the man appeared to offer no resistance.
All of a sudden, police brutality had a human face, and it was being battered by Los Angeles cops on a neighborhood street in the San Fernando Valley. The face belonged to Rodney King, a 25-year-old high school dropout with a criminal record. He had been convicted of second-degree robbery, and he was out on parole.
The motorist was apparently shot by a taser gun, which is...
We don't train our officers to do this kind of thing, and lastly, we...
I'm not violent to the neighborhood. Those kinds of incidents, from my perspective, were not unusual.
But this time, the case went to a grand jury. 11 days later, they handed down indictments.
Four Los Angeles police...
A bombshell.
Officers.
One of the four police officers turned against the other three, saying he thought they had overreacted.
What I recall was I didn't see Mr. King moving, and I thought Officer Powell was out of control then.
Ted Brasino was the one cop who broke ranks and testified against his fellow officers.
I didn't understand what was going on out there. I just didn't understand it. It didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't see why they were doing what they were doing.
Well, did you think it was right or wrong or what?
Wrong.
All right.
Despite Brasino's bombshell, the defense offered the mainly white middle-class jury powerful reasons why it should ignore Brasino's testimony and acquit the four officers.
These officers.
To me, he seems like a nice guy. But to everybody else, they don't care. He just wanted officers that was there helping beat Rodney King. So I guess he's a accessory, you know. But when I viewed the tape, I seen he was the only one that I seen on the tape that was trying to stop.
Then I watched the trial, parts of it, and I thought, and when Mr. Brasino, Officer Brasino wanted a defense, and I said, okay, maybe I'll get involved in the case now because he criticized the other officers for excessive force, but I had to call another client. I was representing a guy named Eazy-E from NWA, who was the gangster rap godfather, and I called Eazy. I said, what do you think about me being your lawyer and also representing someone, the Rodney King? He said, you know, everyone's entitled to a defense, so go ahead, no problem. He actually got to know my client, believed that he was innocent, and helped support his family during the trial.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean,
Easy? Did you actually call up and say, hello, Easy?
Yeah, of course. And he actually attended the trial and also was very criticized in the African-American press at the time.
For supporting one of the officers.
Yeah.
That's really, like, gutsy.
I know. He is a very principled... He's dead now.
I know. But do you think that people that have had interaction with the criminal justice system tend to be more sympathetic to other people that find themselves in that position?
I think so, because you realize how inaccurate, how fragile it is, how politically motivated it can be, how haphazard it can be. So someone like Easy would understand that, but he was more interested in whether or not it was a racial beating or not, and whether...
Hello, my name is Elaine, and I'll be your tour guide through South Central Los Angeles.
How to survive in South Central?
All found not guilty on all but one count.
The reaction to the verdict was swift.
What are we supposed to go back to? People are going to be upset, to say the least. They hurt. We've seen one injustice after another.
The jury's verdict will never outlive the images of the savage beating, seared forever into our minds and our souls.
I am thoroughly convinced, as were the others, I believe, that Mr. King was in full control of the whole situation at all times. He was not writhing in pain. He was moving to get away from the officers. And he gave every indication that he was under PCP.
And she added she thought the prosecution made a big mistake by not putting Rodney King on the stand.
I personally would like to have seen him, to have listened to him, but the prosecutors decided not to bring him on board, so that wasn't an equation that we could look at in making our conclusions.
We've received a lot of criticism for not calling Mr. King at this trial. We didn't want to make Mr. King the focus of the trial. We wanted the focus to be on the defendants.
The Rodney King verdicts came at a particular point in the history of Los Angeles that where the city was like a powder keg.
There's gonna be some hell gonna break out. It's gonna be a riot. I'm not lying. Think I'm playing? Why you think they closed down all the stores? It's gonna be some shit. It was on film. We saw him beating that man. That's bullshit. Bullshit. And we're not gonna stand for it.
What you're watching is the genesis of a riot. Not long after the King verdicts, police find themselves being swallowed up in a neighborhood that is seething.
Location near the intersection of Florence Boulevard and Normandy Avenue in the mostly black ghetto of South Central Los Angeles, where police were called to control angry protesters.
They had come to arrest some men for bothering a store owner, but it clearly wasn't going well. And soon came the order many officers would later regret. Get out of here, Code 3. What they left behind was a pressure cooker on high. Had the police stood their ground on this spot, what happened next might not have happened. The crowd, becoming angrier by the minute, surged down the sidewalk to that intersection, which for 2 hours would become LA's hell on earth. Anyone who wasn't black was a target. Rocks hit one car that careens out of control. The driver pays the price for being Latino. In the utter chaos, he leaves a woman behind, dazed. 2 squad cars race through without stopping. The police will not come back. Later, some officers say it was a disgrace they didn't. The crowd is in a bloodthirsty frenzy now. They swarm over this car whose driver is Asian, pull him out, and beat him.
One of the people who got caught in that intersection was Reginald Denny, who was driving a cement truck.
This new video shows him being pulled from the cab, then lying in the street after his vicious beating, then clawing the air for help.
Denny was finally rescued by African Americans who saw the attack on television. But that moment was lost in the chaos of Florence and Normandy.
Let's rewind and slow down and analyze the Reggie Denny helicopter footage. This particular footage is rare and wiped off the net. All accusations are presented as alleged incidents.
Expect to, oh, look at that. Terrible. And there's no police presence down here. They will not enter the area. That's right. This is attempted murder. No, there's no shutting down Florence. Let's shut Florence Boulevard down. That's the answer. We're going to tell the LAPD to do that now. Tell LAPD to shut Florence Boulevard down and Normandy because people are still driving through here. That's right. That's right, Ross. Ross. Okay, he's moving. He's a lot of blood gushing from the man's head. Someone's standing there taking a picture. He's taking a videotape of the man laying on the street, but nobody's helping him. Now they're checking his gas tank, and boy, if they set that gas tank, well, unbelievable. South Central Los Angeles, we're seeing a dark day here in Los Angeles. The LAPD is nowhere to be found. I feel very frustrated. They're picking his pockets now. I think we just took a round. Well, this is our job, and we're going to stick with it. Okay. Ross, we want to stay up here. I stand by. This is going all the way to Florence in Vermont. This is a riot area. That's a term that the LAPD is using at this point. The driver is stumbling, trying to get up, and nobody is helping the driver. I used to be a medic. Okay, what's the PD? What are they? Okay, we know that. Florence is all the way down Florence from the freeway to Vermont. I used to be a medic, and to see this happen and not be able to help these people, it's indescribable. The feeling, the powerless, how powerless we are. But these pictures are important. It's important to see the dark side of the city, and sure. You see that? He's reaching up for help, and somebody kicked him in the head. No. Ross, because of the picture angle that you have, maybe a tight picture, it is literally people walking through the area. It's literally dozens of people. I have a.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? I thought I'd do a quick video. This is about the 1992 LA riots, the one that involved Reginald Denny being pulled out of the truck by some unknown people. So I just want to go ahead and just run this down really fast. I'm not too sure on the characters and the people that were involved. I'm not going to mention their names, but I'm going to break it down like this. The shit looks like a damn movie set. It looks like it's staged. It doesn't look real. And anybody that's been to LA, from LA, knows that, especially this area, I do believe it was on Florence, that's right close to, especially what's down the 410, which is the freeway, it's going to be full of traffic. It's going to have some type of cars. You look at this video that I'm going to play, this short video, you're just going to see there's no cars around, there's no traffic, there's maybe just a few crowd of people that are around that look like they are paid to be there. It does not look real. It looks like I said, it looks like a movie set. It looks like it was staged. It does not look real. There is no police around. There's no medic around. There's no other vehicles around. Okay? For this to be beginning the start of a riot, this does not look like a riot whatsoever. It looks like a cleared movie set, what they do all the time in California, all the time in Hollywood. They clear off streets. They have it blocked off for a movie. And this is exactly what it looks like. Okay? I'm going to let the footage play. I'm going to, it's an old video. It's like, this is made in 1992. So it's going to be grainy. It's going to be hard to tell, but it's enough to see that it's bullshit. Excuse my language, but it's bullshit. Even the helicopter, the man, the reporter that's reporting the news, he even says, "Where's the police? Where's the medic?" So I know it's a bunch of bullshit. Also, there's people with white t-shirts on. I don't see any blood. I don't see any type of scuffle marks from wearing a white t-shirt. So again, I call out bullshit. Okay? So you can see for yourself. I'm going to let the video play. You can analyze it for yourself. This is clearly another movie set on the world stage.